police state.
Maryland cops detain Indian-American woman and ask if she's illegal. Maryland woman Aravinda Pillalamarri was going for her daily walk near her Bel Air home on December 21st last year when the cops rolled up. They asked what she was doing. She said she was just walking, then asked why she was stopped. The cops said someone had called 911. Because she was walking while brown, Pillalamarri asked in shock. Soon after, a senior officer told her she was under criminal investigation. She didn't have any ID with her at the time, which prompted the officer to ask her if she was in the U.S. illegally. But after they checked her name in the system, she was free to go. Pillalamarri, aged 47, has lived in the area for 30 years and came to the U.S. as a child from India. She told her story recently at a town hall meeting to raise awareness for civil rights. Here's some stories on people who are harassed for not being very Caucasian-looking.
DC cops caught on tape tackling teen who was going to use ATM.
Stop resisting!
This footage, taken by someone identified in the video as Mike, shows police in Washington, D.C. tackling a teenager identified as 18-year-old Jason Goolsby. It was posted to Twitter.
Back off!
According to this tweet from the account where the video was posted, the teens were approached because a white couple felt uncomfortable around me and my friend at the bank. This is how police responded. On Monday morning, Goolsby was at the bank waiting to use the ATM with two of his friends. According to a Metropolitan Police spokesperson, when the police arrived to investigate a possible robbery, Goolsby fled on foot. The officers cuffed Goolsby and also detained Mike for interfering with police. Although both of the teens were detained, upon further investigation neither of them was arrested, and no criminal act was found to have taken place, except maybe the violent harassment of innocent citizens by police officers on a power trip. The backlash following the video being posted online includes social media attention with the hashtag #JusticeForJason and a protest to show support for Goolsby and to bring down the hammer on cops who crossed the line. Goolsby is a scholarship student at the University of District of Columbia and an aspiring rapper who releases music under the names Kid Kwesi and Jay Cousteau.
Seattle police apologized for mistreating a 70-year-old man out on a stroll with his golf club. But that's just the tip of the iceberg here. July 9th, 2014. A brilliant summer day in Seattle. William Wingate was walking through the Capitol Hill section of town like he always does when Officer Cynthia Whitlatch of the Seattle Police Department pulled over and accused him of swinging a golf club at her.
Tape.
No, you call somebody. I ain't done nothing to nobody.
You just swung that golf club at me.
I did not.
Yes, you did. Right back there.
I didn't see you. I didn't wait no golf club.
It was on audio and videotape. Put it down.
Mr. Wingate wasn't having it. The Air Force veteran and retired Metro bus driver tried to explain to Officer Whitlatch that he uses the club as a walking stick and was just minding his own business. The officer calls for backup and the senior citizen was placed under arrest and put into a paddy wagon, which, because of his age, he needed help being placed into, according to the report. Talk about not respecting your elders. Now, in October of last year, the city attorney recommended the case for dismissal after former Washington State Representative Dawn Mason became involved. Working with Seattle Police Chief Kathleen O'Toole and Deputy Chief Carmen Best, the three were able to get the charges dropped and right this wrong, at least on paper. But this rabbit hole goes much deeper, it seems. Officer Whitlatch's own ex-girlfriend, who was also a police officer at one point, says that she used to drop the N-bomb like crazy around her when talking about her day on the job. And if that's not enough, Seattle resident Brian Davis got into a dispute on Facebook with the officer during the Ferguson protest last summer. He was simply trying to tell a group of officers in a thread that the protests really aren't about them and it's about the system. That's when Officer Whitlatch left this reply saying, in essence, black racism is far more damaging as a whole than white racism, and black folks shouldn't be paranoid that all white folks are out to get them. Oh, really? Why don't we ask Mr. Wingate what he thinks?
At least one man accused of racism on a Paris train has been identified. A video of a black man being pushed and taunted on a Paris metro platform recently went viral online. The film shows the man, identified as 33-year-old Suleiman S., trying to board a train twice before being pushed off. Those who pushed him on the train can be heard chanting, we're racist, and that's the way we like it." Apparently, the group was a bunch of Chelsea supporters who had just come from a game. Thanks to social media, one of those in the group has been identified as 20-year-old Josh Parsons, a former student of Millfield School, a fancy schmancy school that costs £11,500 per term, which works out to be about £30,000 a year. Parsons now works as an assistant at the financial services firm, the Business and Commercial Finance Club. Oh wait, no he doesn't, because his employers say he will not return to his job until they've investigated the incident. Paris prosecutors have also confirmed that anyone convicted of taking part in this little racist event could face a prison term of up to 3 years and a fine of up to £33,000, or about 45,000 euros. And unsurprisingly, Chelsea has already announced that it is suspending the supporters over the incident.
Black student suspected of stealing his own car. Police in the city of Evanston, Illinois have released this dashcam footage, which shows a black PhD student being arrested on suspicion of stealing his own car. The incident took place on October 10, 2015. Driver Lawrence Crosby was 25 years old at the time and studying for a doctoral degree in civil engineering at Northwestern University. But as you can see here, the arresting officers took the opportunity to engineer a few knee and open-handed strikes to Crosby's body as they wrestled the student to the ground and slapped cuffs on him. Earlier that night, Crosby aroused the suspicions of a member of the public who saw him trying to fix some loose molding on his car roof. The woman called 911 and said she felt bad about racial profiling, but reported a potential case of grand theft auto anyway. She then jumped in her own car and started following Crosby. The student noticed he was being tailed and decided he would drive to the police station to explain the situation before things escalated. But by that point, the cops were already in hot pursuit.
St. Mark's Church, hold here.
All right. I got my...
Crosby proved to the cops that the car was his and explained he'd been trying to fix something on the roof. So when they couldn't pin anything on him for theft, the police charged Crosby with resisting arrest and disobeying officers. Those charges were thrown out by a judge in March of last year. Crosby has since filed a civil lawsuit against the city and the arresting officers, alleging false arrest and excessive force. The police, however, claimed the use of force was justified. So now it'll be up to a court to decide if this is yet another case of a citizen being hassled for driving while black. Cop pulls over black driver for making direct eye contact. After a video of their angry confrontation at a traffic stop in mid-August garnered thousands of views on Facebook, a driver and an Ohio police officer have agreed to sit down and have a conversation about it. According to a video he recorded of the incident, John Felton of Detroit, Michigan was driving to a birthday party with his brother at 11 p.m. when John aroused a cop's suspicion after making direct eye contact with the officer while driving past the officer's vehicle. The as-yet unidentified cop said he stopped Felton after Felton failed to signal 100 feet before making a turn. Due to the traffic infraction, the officer pulled Felton over and gave him a warning. But Felton said the officer had been trailing him for miles. And eye contact or not, Felton says the cop was looking for a reason to pull him over and Sandra Bland him. A reference to the Chicago woman who was stopped in Texas for a minor traffic violation and arrested in July. She ended up hanging herself in jail a few days later. The two have agreed to have a conversation facilitated by a mediator, but whether that will actually ease tensions remains to be seen. Felton's video, along with the caption, "This is why I hate coming to Dayton," has gotten almost 50,000 views on Facebook.
Talking about you didn't put the damn signal 100 feet. He needed a reason to pull me over.